Legacy. It's not just about the number of touchdowns or passing yards thrown. It's more than athletic ability and the desire to win. It's leadership. It was about the quality of the player on, but more importantly, off the field. It's about character, values, integrity, and teamwork. We hope the winners of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award will continue to carry the legacy forward. That's what helped build my father's legacy. And just as this year's candidates look to the past for inspiration and motivation, we look forward to the future for their leadership and innovation. This year, one of these candidates will create their own footprint and continue on the legacy of the Golden Arm in their own right. Join us this year as we search for the next in line to join the family of Golden Arm Award winners.
The Golden Arm Award holds a place close to my heart, and I am grateful to this day to have won the award in 1997 after my career at Tennessee. Everyone knows the greatness of Johnny Unitas, and through the work of his family and his foundation, many people's lives have been touched by the Golden Arm Educational Foundation.
As a quarterback, I think Johnny Unitas did so many things for our position. He was such a hard worker. He was a leader. He was a team player first. just as Mr. Berry said, and that's what I want to be. I want to be just like that. I want to have the same qualities and characteristics that he had, because he definitely changed the game in a positive way.
To win an award, named after a legend like Johnny Unitas, it means the world to me. I obviously, as a football fan, knew who he was, knew how prolific he was in throwing the ball, and how he, almost revolutionized the sport for all the things he stood for on the field and for what he stood for off the field. It's truly, a blessing, and I'm so grateful to be a part of his legacy and hopefully carry his name forward still, and help the community and impact people in a positive way.
To win an award like this, it's so crazy to think. Right when I won it, I looked up the past winners, and you see guys like Matt Leinart, guys like Peyton and Eli Manning, Chris Winkie, who's won a Heisman, Marcus Mariota, who's won a Heisman, and the list goes on. And I kind of just stood back and just shook my head and just said, why me? So I'm truly blessed, truly honored to win such an award, and to win an award named after the great Johnny Unitas.
And then also one thing about him, and one thing that's special about this award, it's not just about football. I think that's something that Johnny was definitely about. He's a great man that played football. He wasn't just a football player. And I think that's something that's very important. And I think it's great that this award really encapsulates all that he was about.
It's a huge honor to be even mentioned in John Unitas' name, and I grew up, and my dad always told me that he was the greatest quarterback to ever play, and he was his idol. So I've known about John Unitas for a long time.
I think everyone asks me, what does it mean to be up for all these awards? And I try to sit there and think about it. It's just surreal to me. I can't put it into words, just besides the fact that I'm extremely grateful. So thank you.
The Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award embodies the values that my dad worked for: innovation, teamwork, leadership, athletic ability, sportsmanship, character, and the list goes on. Each year we present this prestigious award to one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Throughout this season, we've been following innovators and leaders who paved the way for the next generation of players. But there was only one who rose to the occasion and stood above the rest. Congratulations to the winner of this year's Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Throughout this season, you have demonstrated the ability and the qualities for which this award stands. We look forward to honoring your achievements in Baltimore this December, watching you perform and continue those efforts in building your own legacy and carrying on the legacy of the Golden Arm Award.
started off there? Sports
Oh yeah.
Good. She loved it. And because we flew into Houston. So we had to pick up in Houston. Which is welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
Go time? Okay. All right, we're going to get started. Hello and welcome. 2022 Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award as we salute good things and good people here tonight at the Four Seasons. Good to see all of you. I'm Scott Garceau. Some of you know me. Some of you probably don't, but like you, I'm a big fan of this award and the man who it was named after. I think years ago when John called me and asked me if I could be part of this program, I think my answer was anything for your dad and you. So I've been here for a few years. But this award celebrates what John meant to the game that so many of us love and what he meant and did for our community and still does with events like this. John's impact was tremendous. And tonight we gather to honor a young man who follows in his footsteps. But right now we'd like to ask Bishop Bruce Lewandowski of the Archbishop Diocese of Baltimore to join us for the invocation. Bruce?
Gratefulness is the heart of prayer, and it's said that the greatest prayer we could ever pray consists of two words: thank you. And so as we unite this evening in prayer, let those words be in our minds and hearts. God, thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you that we are here tonight and that you are able to bring hope even through some of the toughest of times, strengthening us for your purposes. Thank you for your great love and care for us. Thank you for your mercy and grace. Thank you that you are always with us and never leave us. Thank you for number 19, the Golden Arm, Johnny Unitas. Most of all, thank you that we are able to be here tonight to continue his legacy, to celebrate his contributions to our community, and to remember him with great love and affection. Thank you, Lord, for all that you have done through this great man and his legacy. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. We give you praise and thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop. It's always a special night as we honor the legacy of John, who basically reinvented the quarterback position. There were a lot of quarterbacks before him and some great ones, but he really did reinvent the position. Family members, teammates, friends, and fans in this room know how special John was and what he stood for. And tonight we honor a young man who will receive this Golden Arm Award named after John. Right now, the president of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Education Foundation and son of the Golden Arm, John Unitas Jr. John?
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you, Scott, again, for serving as our MC. You continue to do this as far as I'm concerned, so I thank you for doing that.
Deal?
The lifetime deal, dude. Signed a contract after this. And it wouldn't be the same Johnny Unitas Golden Arm without Scott, so I appreciate you for you being here, Scott. And I want to thank all of you for coming out here tonight to celebrate my father's legacy and the man voted as the top quarterback in college football for 2022, Texas Christian University, Max Duggan. This marks our 36th year. Last year we had never had a winner from Texas Christian University. Needless to say, this is a very special to our foundation and our award. Welcome, Max, Mom Deborah, Father Jim, Sister Megan, Brother Sam, girlfriend Kenna, Howard, and head coach Sonny Dykes. Round of applause for him. Great coach. And of course his beautiful wife Kate. And to one of the hardest working SIDs, Mark Cohen. Where are you, Mark? There you go. Great applause. Mark has been instrumental in helping me form the logistics of this event. It's been quite a few times we talked. But anyway, it's been great, Mark. Thank you. And I also want to thank Sonny's right hand, I say coach, she probably is, Andrea Roberts. Is she here? Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Without Andrea, I don't think coach would be the, okay, that's what I thought. And welcome to all of you to Baltimore. So thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Max Duggan, senior quarterback with 41 career starts at TCU. Completed 239 of 368 passes for 69.9% rating. For 3,321 yards and 30 touchdowns with just 4 interceptions. I think that's incredible. Max, congratulations. Unlike my father, he rushed for 404 yards and another 6 scores, leading the Horned Frogs to a 12-1 season and their first ever berth in the college football playoff. Max was also named the finalist for the Heisman Trophy Award, so we're proud of you, Max. He was also named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, just one of many honors with more to come. And I'll let Scott add to that list later on. There's more to Max Duggan than his football exploits. It's what he does off the field. We commend you for your efforts, Max, in giving back to help those less fortunate than ourselves. This is something my father felt as passionate about, so keep up the good work. In winning the Golden Arm Award, Max joins the family of many quarterbacks, names we're all familiar with. Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, Peyton and Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, Andrew Luck, Marcus Mariota, Mason Rudolph, and last year's winner, Kenny Pickett, who has now taken over as the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, #1 quarterback, which we expect Max to do the same. We are proud to say we have 9 former winners of the Golden Arm Award competing in the NFL as well. So soon to add number 10, Max Duggan. Candidates for the award are judged not only for their athletic achievements, but also for their character, their sportsmanship, their integrity, their citizenship, teamwork, and leadership qualities, and Max certainly leads by example, a true leader. Max certainly epitomized all that my father envisioned when he established the Golden Arm Award in 1987. Max is not just a great quarterback, he is a great individual. And it's been a pleasure spending the day with him, you, Max, your family, and your friends that came along. It was a great time. I had fun. Except for the ride. That was a long ride. And the fog. In every way, Max measures up to the high standards by which my father stood. Max is the worthiest recipient of this award, and I know my father would be very proud to see him here tonight. Beyond recognizing outstanding college quarterbacks, my father established the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Foundation, a foundation established to give back to the community. The Golden Arm Foundation promotes football on all levels by providing financial aid to deserving young scholar athletes graduating from high school, moving on to college to play football, but more importantly, to get their education. And I thank every one of you out here who support this foundation. Without you and your support, we would not be able to give out these scholarships. So again, thank you so much. Appreciate it. To date, with the help of our sponsors, the foundation has awarded more than $750,000 in scholarships to deserving young athletes in both Maryland and Kentucky. Why Kentucky? My father went to the University of Louisville. To our sponsors, we thank you for your support. It is your commitment in sponsoring this event that helps me make my dad's dream a reality and making a difference to scholar athletes around the country for whom we award scholarships to each year. I would like to thank our many sponsors who make financial commitments in order to make this event and this evening and the scholarships award possible. To our premier and presenting sponsor, A.O. Smith Corporation. Jeff Story, his daughter Molly, Lee Holmes, Robin, Carter, thank you for being here. We appreciate your support and undying dedication to this foundation. I also want to thank MedStar Memorial's Medicine, Sports Medicine, Brad Chambers. Thank you very much, Brad. Appreciate you being here again. Deborah Schindler, and the rest of the many doctors who care for our Ravens. Darius Washington. Thank you for being here, my friend. Appreciate it. And if they can't fix you, just break it again and take it. And the many other athletes and universities throughout the college and colleges throughout Maryland. MedStar is a tremendous supporter of this foundation, and they do a tremendous amount of work in this community. And Brad, thank you again. I appreciate it, man. Dunbar Security Systems, Kevin Dunbar, Jeff Berg, Andrew Maggio, if you're here, thank you so much. HMS Insurance, Gary Berger, I know is not here. Steve Mutcher, you're here with your wife. Scott Reber, you're here. Thank you so much again for coming. I appreciate it. Haddock Investments, Gerald Haddock. Also, Tektronic Industries of North America, owners of the brands like Milwaukee Tool, Dirt Devil. Thank you, Sean Daughtery, who has been a great supporter of the foundation as well. And the setting for tonight's event, Four Seasons Baltimore Inner Harbor Hotel. I thank you and your entire team. You've done a great job, and I thank you very much. I would also like to recognize the many organizations that provide in-kind assistance to us as well. The Babe Ruth and Sports Legends Museum, Mike Gibbons, Sean Hearn, Katie Dick, Ed Mearholz. We had a great time today. I know that the Duggan family enjoyed all the memorabilia that we saw and the stories that Sean shared with us. If you haven't been, again, I encourage you to go. It's changing all the time. We're in an environment now where this legendary legends of this world they're out there, and we should follow what they've done and look at what they've done in the past and continue to elaborate on them doing the right things moving forward in the future. So I appreciate that, Ed and Katie. CoForce, Johnny Baker, John McLean, and the rest of your team, thank you for your production of the event. We appreciate it very much, John. Thanks. A2 Creative, Andrew Prasad, Comcast, Robin Salza, Trey, Brian Burleys, Kate Dashlin, and Courtney Waggle. Encore, Justin Day, Brian Lupo, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wilson Sporting Goods, Wolf Professional Security, Brian Wolf and your team, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that as well. And Z-Best Limousine, who provides our transportation services for us, George Raines, Tim Siebert, and Bill Milliker. And last but not least, I want to thank my family, Christine, my wife, Jillian, and my son-in-law, Anders Krohn, and my new addition to the family, our grandson, Luca, who's sleeping, I hope, and to my son, JC, and his wife, Georgina, who couldn't be here with us tonight. We're sorry for that. But for all your help, patience, and support, but most of all for your love. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. In closing, I want to just thank again for everyone for coming out this evening to celebrate the accomplishments of this very fine young man, Max Duggan. He's going to go big places. He's a fine young man. He's a good-looking guy, too. McKenna, keep him on leash, you know. Anyway, so I'm going to turn it back over to Scott. I thank you again for all coming, and I look forward to seeing you after the event. Thanks again.
We do have a couple of special guests we'd like to recognize tonight as well. This lady is the wife of Baltimore Colts Hall of Fame tight end John Mackey. She is a tremendous advocate for former players and their families. The Sylvia Mackey Woman of the Year Award is presented by the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund to honor her work. Please welcome Sylvia Mackey. I think this man is with it, although I haven't seen him, but hopefully he'll stand up. I think he's here. A Baltimore Colt who had a terrific 12-year NFL career. His rookie year in Baltimore was John's last year with the Colts. They were teammates for only a year, but became good friends. He came to Baltimore from American International, not exactly a power conference, I don't think, back then. That was 50 years ago, and fortunately for us, he came here and never left. We're glad he didn't. A fan favorite for all of Baltimore, Pro Bowl safety Bruce Laird. Is Bruce here? Where's Brucey? Please check the bar. He may be having a cocktail. He'll enter a little later. All right. And on this night, when we honor the legend of Johnny U, we have another legend among us. He and John were close friends and icons in the same era in their respective sports. How lucky are we in Baltimore to have these two that gave so much to so many? But as great as they were, they always acted like they were simply just one of us, right? We knew better. Former American League MVP, World Series MVP, 18-time All-Star, and the man who won 16 consecutive Gold Gloves at third base. So good to see you, Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson. Brooksy. And I'm fortunate enough, I get to see Brooks a lot at the ballpark, and he's still doing good things for the Orioles, but it's also good to see his son, Brooks David, who I don't get to see as much. He's with us tonight from Georgia. All right, let me tell you a little bit about our guest speaker tonight, who has helped shape the Baltimore sports landscape. He came here with the Ravens first year in 1996 and spent 9 years as Ozzie Newsome's right-hand man. He drafted some good football players like Hall of Famers John Ogden, Ray Lewis, and Ed Reed, and those guys, and I think about 9 Pro Bowlers that he drafted helped the Ravens win 2 Super Bowls. Later, as general manager of the Browns, he drafted offensive tackle Joe Thomas, who will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer in about 2 or 3 weeks when we have our Zoom meeting this year. My ballot will be turned in the next day or two, but I think all of us who vote know that Joe Thomas is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. College football has been a big part of his life as first a quarterback, as a player, a coach, a scout, executive director of the Senior Bowl, and broadcaster on the Tide Sports Network, calling 5 Alabama national championships. He has over 20 years of NFL front office experience and currently is the New York Jets Senior Football Advisor, a friend of the Golden Arm Award. He's been with us several times for this event. Please welcome Phil Savage.
Thank you, Scotty. It's so great to see you, and we miss our dear friend Tom Maddy.
We do.
On a night like this. But what an honor to be part of the selection committee for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award and to be back in Baltimore, maybe the greatest sports city in America, in my opinion. Just a wonderful place. I have 3 quick stories I want to share with you. And the first one started 35 years ago. And that was my first real tangible brush with Johnny Unitas. I was a graduate assistant at the University of Alabama under a coach by the name of Bill Curry. Now, Coach Curry had the distinction of playing for three legendary Hall of Fame coaches: Bobby Dodd at Georgia Tech, Vince Lombardi with the Green Bay Packers, and then, of course, Don Shula here in Baltimore with the Colts. On top of that, as a center, he had snapped to Bart Starr, to Johnny Unitas, and to Joe Namath during his career. So in saying that, when he became the head coach at Alabama, he was previously at Georgia Tech. When he got there, he insisted that we adopt his philosophy in terms of the characteristics of a champion. And so with that being said, the 5 characteristics were singleness of purpose, unselfishness, toughness, intelligence or smart, and never quit. Those were the 5 characteristics that he harped on from the very first day he got to Alabama, and he's still doing it today as he speaks to corporate America. So, clearly, between the coaches he had been with, the quarterbacks he had been with, and then Johnny Unitas himself, he personified those 5 characteristics of a champion. And in saying that, that's why we're here, to honor this legacy and to recognize another champion in our midst. So, when the Browns left Cleveland and came to Baltimore in 1996, I was part of that original staff, as Scott mentioned. One of our scouts was a man by the name of Ron Marcinak. You don't know the name, but he was a longtime scout in the NFL. But prior to that, he was born in Pittsburgh. He was a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he played in the Catholic B League for a school called St. George's. One of his opponents was Johnny Unitas at St. Justin's. So Coach Ron went on to Kansas State and played his college career. Johnny U went on to Louisville and played his college career. And then in 1955, they were both drafted. Coach Ron went to the Washington Redskins. They were known as that at that time. And then, of course, Mr. Unitas went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Most people think the Colts. No, he went to the Steelers, where he was cut very quickly. But no one in modern football knew Johnny Unitas more than Ron Marcinak. They literally had grown up together. And so literally 45, 50 years had passed, but Ron Marcinak always talked about Johnny Unitas in the sandlots of Pittsburgh and playing for the Bloomfield Rams, and what a winner he was and what a great teammate he was. And he just always referenced Johnny Unitas oftentimes. But there was this one episode that occurred. We were all down at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile in 2004. And so typically the scouts are there Monday through Thursday, and then they leave. They don't stay for the game. But Coach Ron and myself and one of our other scouts, Terry McDonough, had decided to stay for the game. And so Phillip Rivers was one of the quarterbacks there from NC State. And so if you've ever been in a working press box, and Scott would know that, and John Jr. would know, if the windows are closed and the press box if the windows are down, it can be eerily quiet during a game. Like, you can't hear a pin drop because it's a working press box. There's no cheering. There's really no talking allowed. And so Rivers trots out there with the South team, and they go straight down the field. Zip, 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 touchdown. Well, Ron Marcinak had put his earphones in to listen to the radio broadcast, and he was already a little bit slight of hearing to begin with, so he talked loud already. Well, in this quiet press box, as soon as the South team scores, he goes, "Holy hell, he looks just like Johnny Unitas." And everybody in the press box erupted in laughter, but they knew exactly what he meant. He meant that this was a quarterback that was a field general. He was efficient, and he was a winner. And that's what this award represents. It represents leadership, it represents toughness, and it represents winning on and off the field. Ladies and gentlemen, my third story for you is this. We're living in a metamorphosis of college football right now. I want to give you a couple of examples. I went to 42 schools this year scouting for the New York Jets. So I've been all over the country. And there are 3 quotes or stories that were told to me by staffers and coaches that really resonated with me in terms of where we are as a football society, a football culture. One of the coaches told me that last year there were a number of prominent football programs, name brand programs, that were soliciting their players for $800,000 to try to come from a lesser school or lesser program to a bigger school. Another coach told me that this year recruiting a high school wide receiver, he said, "Hey coach, $1.8 million or you're not even going to be on the list." And then a third story was that on official visits, when the parents and the prospects come to these colleges, typically there's an itinerary laid out. Strength coach, nutritionist, academics, position coach, coordinator, every resource on campus, they get a meeting until they culminate that with the head coach. Not anymore. This year, in the last 6 to 9 months, when the parents and the prospects show up on campus, they want to have 2 meetings. They want to have a photo shoot in the locker room for social media purposes. And then the second thing is they want the NIL meeting, the name, image, and likeness meeting, so they can find out what's the bottom line monetarily for me to choose your school. What we're seeing are overzealous alums, overindulgent parents, misinformed third-party handlers, and many players with virtually an entourage of speed coaches and strength trainers and mental performance advisors and quarterback gurus. And at the quarterback position, especially, it seems that everyone is looking for an open runway without competition in securing a starting job somewhere else. They want something given, not something that's earned. So while everything is upside down in the world of college football, remember those characteristics of a champion that I mentioned earlier? The singleness of purpose, the unselfishness, the toughness, the intelligence, and the never quit attitude? Yes, what I learned so long ago has stood the test of time and still makes football the greatest team sport ever invented. I ask myself every year as a member of the selection committee, as we cast our ballots for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, which young man is worthy of wearing those signature high-top black cleats? The Latin phrase e pluribus unum means out of many, one. And there's only one quarterback in the country who could wear the black high tops this year, and that's Max Duggan, the quarterback with the golden heart. The golden heart. Max, you've demonstrated a singleness of purpose. You're unselfish, you're tough, you're smart, and you've never quit. A timeless message for all of us in this room. Thank you, well done, and congratulations.
Well done, Phil. Well, just over a year ago, TCU hired Sonny Dykes to be the Horned Frogs' new head coach. And the question is, how's that working out? Well, prior to the season, TCU was picked for 7th, not in the country, in the Big 12 Conference. They were picked for 7th. Today, they are 3rd in the nation. He took over a 5-7 team. This year, TCU won their first 12 games, and they'll play Michigan New Year's Eve in the school's first ever trip to the college football playoffs. TCU is just the second team from the Big 12 to make the 4-team college football playoffs. Today, I don't know if you heard this, Coach, but there were reports that your contract has been extended through the 2028 season. So I may be the first to tell you, but congratulations. I think this thing's working out pretty good. He put together a terrific staff. It's not just the head coach. You got to have good people around you, right, Coach? And his offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, who coached Max, has been named the nation's top assistant coach. Here to tell us more about his Golden Arm Award-winning quarterback, the Big 12 Coach of the Year, and maybe the National Coach of the Year because he's one of 8 finalists for that honor, TCU's Sonny Dykes.
Thank you, Phil. Wow, that was quite an impressive talk, and I think you must have seen Max play this year because I think you hit the nail right on the head. I just want to say this: thank you to the city of Baltimore and to the Unitas family for hosting the Duggan family and myself and our entourage of folks that have come from TCU. I just can't tell you how excited we are to be here and how much we appreciate the honor and opportunity to come up here and to honor Max and also to honor Johnny Unitas. As Phil talked about earlier, there are very few people that personify what Johnny Unitas stands for anymore. I really, truly believe that. And I am very fortunate every day to get to go to work and to be around somebody that does. Max Duggan, what he stands for, what he does, what he's meant to our football program, it's really difficult to put into words. When I have an opportunity to sit here and see these photographs of Johnny Unitas, it makes me think of Max. It truly does. I think of somebody who puts the team in front of themselves. I think Max does that better than anybody I've ever been around. It's always about the team. It's never about Max. And those of you that have had an opportunity to interact with him, you can see that pretty easily. The second thing, it's about toughness. If you saw our game this past Saturday, the Big 12 championship game, there's no question who the toughest player on the field was and the toughest player in college football, and he's sitting right up here on the stage. The never say die attitude. If you've had a chance to see the TCU Horned Frogs play this year, we've overcome big deficits. We've overcome situations that didn't look very good for us. This past Saturday in the Big 12 championship, down 11 points with about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and not one person on our team had any doubt that Max Duggan would lead us back, and we tied the game up in regulation, ended up losing in overtime, but it was quite a tribute to Max. So let me just say this. I think the thing that I am so fortunate is to get the chance to work with him every single day. He makes us all better. He is one of those guys, when he walks into the room, he inspires every single person in the room. The room changes. The air changes. He's just different. He really is. And he is one of those kids that he is not concerned about accolades. He's embarrassed to be up here. He believes that this is a team award, and it really is in so many ways. But we, as a football program, certainly wouldn't be where we are without Max Duggan. And I just want to say this. I've been coaching for almost 30 years now. I've coached a lot of good quarterbacks. I've been really fortunate. I've coached Jared Goff, was the first pick in the NFL draft. I've coached Nick Foles, was a Super Bowl MVP. I've coached some guys that are really, really fantastic quarterbacks, but I've never coached anybody like this one. And I'll tell you what this guy does, and I think it's really pretty remarkable. Every single day when I get in my car and I drive to work, Max Duggan puts pressure on me to be a better coach because I know how much he cares about his teammates, and I know how much he cares about our program. And so what he does, it's hard to put a value on it. It really is, because he changes people. And what more can you say about a young person? I don't know what the future holds for Max Duggan, but I know it's going to be incredibly bright. And whatever he chooses to do, I know he's going to have a fantastic football career, but I know when he's done playing football, he'll also make an incredible mark with whatever he chooses to do, because he is going to inspire people just like he inspires me every single day. So on behalf of TCU football and the Duggan family, I just want to say thank you, because this is a deserving young man, and he represents everything that Johnny Unitas stood for. So I could continue to talk about it for a long time, but let's cue this video. As they say, pictures are worth 1,000 words, so here we go.
Second and 9 to the 23. Duggan. Finds his man. Touchdown. TCU. Davis again. Duggan pulls it out. Looking. Duggan lets it go. Touchdown. Horned Frogs. DeMarcado snuck out of the backfield.
Duggan backpedals, lofts to the end zone, wide open, Johnston, touchdown! That could...
Good job, O-line. Good job. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Finish it up.
Duggan on the run, he scores!
Get after it. Keep going. Keep going.
Had the rushing touchdown. Now he throws the ball this side for Barber and stride. The big play, Frogs strike again.
All right, let's go, brother.
Yeah, the on thing, right? There's the football end, right? You're not up here unless you have a golden arm, but there's other things: character, citizenship, leadership, academics. Phil and all those who have to go over the nation's best quarterbacks look at all those things. It's important consideration for this honor. And it doesn't hurt to have the golden arm. This is a football award, but also about those qualities in a person that John valued, like toughness. When I first got to town and my job interview, matter of fact, quick story, Channel 2, where I started, was right next door to the Golden Arm, John's restaurant, right? And so the general manager, news director took me there for lunch. And halfway through lunch, John Unitas sat down in the booth. And they introduced me to John, and John couldn't have been more gracious, and we started swapping stories. I grew up a Packer fan, and we kicked it around for 20 minutes, and he walked away, and I turned to the two people that I thought might hire me, and I said, how much do I have to pay to work here? You know, I was hooked. John Unitas had me. But when I talked to the guys that played with him, usually it wasn't about the pass he threw against the Bears or the time we beat the Packers and when John threw for 4 touchdowns or did this. They talked about his toughness, his leadership, his toughness. Toughness, toughness, toughness. That was John. And John would admire Max's toughness, battling through injuries his junior year, adversity early this year when he went on to lead his team to the Final Four in college football and to sit up here and represent his school and his team with this award. He went through a heart procedure, blood clots. There were some bumps along the road, but he never once flinched. Here's what one of his offensive linemen said about Max. I'd do anything for that guy. He's got the heart of a warrior, and he's just a leader. Sounds like the number 19 in our town, right? His numbers are special. John touched on some. Completed 65% of his passes for over 3,300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and, yeah, only 4 interceptions. Obviously, coach's best friend. He takes care of the football. He doesn't give it away to the other team and give them short fields. He's run for 6. I didn't see it. Was it on the highlight reel? He caught a touchdown pass this year, too. You catch a touchdown or just a pass? He caught a pass, so he threw one to himself, I guess. I'm not sure. The Horned Frogs led the nation with 19 plays of 50-plus yards. They're one of only 2 teams in the country averaging at least 270 yards per game passing, 200 yards rushing, and have at least 30 passing, 30 rushing TDs. So he's part of the show. He isn't just the show. He's making the players around him better. He's 9th in the nation in passing efficiency and accounted for at least 3 touchdowns in 8 of their first 12 games. And you can also check the student-athlete box, too. Max has received all academic honors 3 straight years, and he's on schedule to graduate with a business degree in 10 days. Is that right? He's getting there, right? That's a pretty glowing resume. Right now, I'd like to have John and Coach Dykes present the 2022 Golden Arm Award to TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Gentlemen.
Congratulations,
Sir,
Max. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is it heavy? It's heavy.
That's awesome. That's a good problem.
You sit down here, man.
How's it going, everybody? First off, I just want to thank, John Unitas, Golden Arm, Educational Foundation, John Unitas Selection Committee, and A.O. Smith Corporation put on just a fantastic event honoring Johnny Unitas' legacy, everything he did for this city, as a player and as a person. So thank you to you guys. I'm incredibly honored to be able to stand up here. I'm appreciative, to receive this prestigious award. I couldn't have done it with anybody, teammates, coaches, all of that. But I'm honored to stand up here and be a part of Johnny Unitas' legacy. Thank you to Mr. Unitas for showing my family around the city of Baltimore, getting to see Johnny Unitas' statue, the black high tops, getting to learn so much about him, what he did. There's so many great stories. I know my dad used to say, if you want to make history, you got to know history. And learn about Johnny Unitas and, breaking his nose and snuffing it with mud. just some great stories. Him being the innovator of the passing game, 2-minute offense, doing things that, weren't normal. And him being a team player, being there for his guys, his teammates, his city, I think is just incredible. Being able to show us the Babe Ruth Museum, learning so much about this city's culture, how much sports means to them, just seeing the greats, stories and memories that have built the city up, which has been incredible. So thank you very much. To the city of Baltimore, like I said, so much. This is my family's first time. It's my first time being here. Thank you guys for opening your doors and allowing us to be here. People have been incredible. The city has been incredible. Learning so much about the tradition, rich tradition, both of the city, the people, and like we said, the greatest sports town, in the United States. So thank you guys. I think, as a young guy, my dad was, played quarterback in college, and when you're trying to, become one of those guys, he talks to you about some of the greats, and Johnny Unitas' name comes up. And I think something that, my dad was pretty pumped about is he has a 1971 card of Johnny Unitas with him tonight that he's been holding on for a while. And, he talks about, those are the guys that you want to be around. Those are the guys you want to be like, the legends, the Hall of Famers of not just what they did on the field, but, being a tough leader, being competitive, leaving it all out there and never quitting. And I think that's something that I try to pride myself on, just as, Johnny Unitas did. You see names, of, other people, of past winners, and it's just a special group to be a part of being allowed of, Joe Burrow, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn. Being part of this fraternity now is a special group, and it's a prestigious award to be a part of. I think a lot of people probably don't know about, now we have two winners from the state of Iowa. Joe Burrow was born in Ames, Iowa. So me from Council Bluffs, Iowa. So now there's two Iowans that, pretty special.
The corn's good there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got some good corn. It's special to be the first TCU Horned Frog to win this award. We've had so many great players, great quarterbacks come through TCU, great players at other positions, but to be able to bring this back to Fort Worth, let our fan base, let our city be proud of, means a tremendous amount to me and our program. Mom and Dad, Sam and Megan, you guys mean more to me than you guys will ever know. There's so many, times of, Little League games, basketball games. You guys were taking me home. I was out there late. If I'd go 0 for 4 at the plate in baseball games, I'd have my mom sit in the batting cage, throw me soft toss when the lights are done. If I have a bad game, I miss a game-winning free throw, my dad's making sure I'm in the gym when the lights are off. It doesn't matter that all the boys are at home starting their weekend. I'm going to be missing out. So I love you guys. You guys help me more than you'll ever know. So. To Mrs. Dykes and Coach Dykes, thank you guys for making the trip. It means a tremendous amount of what you've done, for myself, my family, my career. You put confidence back into me as myself. You've always had my back. You've allowed me to be myself. And there's nothing I can say that, will put it into words of how much you guys mean to me, so thank you. Also, congratulations on the Coach of the Year. It's big time. So, also to my offensive coordinator, Coach Garrett Riley, a lot of credit to him. He changed my career. He's been a tremendous help of putting confidence into me. He's a fun guy to be around. It has helped me a tremendous of learning the game, how to be a man, things of that sort. I'm excited for him. Congratulations on the Broyles Award. If I was a recruit, I'd probably want to get down to Fort Worth and play with these, Coach of the Years. Makes my job pretty easy. Makes you look a little better than you are. Obviously, look at what I'm doing. So. To my girlfriend, McKenna, thank you for being here. You've been with me through the ups and the downs. You've had my back. Been able to talk with you about a bunch of things. So I'm glad you get to experience this moment with me and all the future memories and scenes that we get to have together. So thanks for being here. I know it's a Thursday night. We don't have practice tomorrow. I know it's getting live streamed right now. So I bet my boys back home are. They might be watching and they might be having a good time. I'm not too sure, but I got to mention my boys up front, my O-line. Those guys, I love them. From Brandon Coleman, Steve Avila, Lon Ali, Wes Harris, John Lands, Andrew Coker. Those boys, I love them. They make my job easy. they're the guys that have my back. Every time I'm out there, every time I get pushed to the opposing sideline, they got me. They make my job easy. Let me kind of shine in the bright when those guys are doing all the dirty work in the dark, and they get they don't get the recognition that they deserve. To the guys on the outside, guys on the slots, Q, Savion, Jordan, Dede, Tay, Gunner, guys in the backfield, Kendre, Amari, Trent, Amani, all these guys that put so much work, so much effort into it. Make my job easy. I gotta, when I'm struggling, I gotta turn around and hand the ball to them. I gotta, close my eyes and throw a fade right up to Q, and he probably bails me out when I should have probably gotten picked. But all those guys, this award's for them. It means more to them. It shows more to them than it does to me, and they deserve all of this credit. And I think wrapping up, just talking about what Johnny Unitas did and how much football meant to him and his family in this city, and I think it really hits hard with me. Less about the football, less about the the stats and all things of that sort, but what he did to rally a city, to have a lot of pride of a city, of one team and one man, to go out there and compete, give his all. Doesn't matter if it's putting his body on the line, any things of that sort. But he knew what his job was to do, and he wanted to make the most of it. He wanted to make a city and a fan base proud of the product that he was putting out there, and a team that they could call theirs. So it's something that I still try to work for to this day, to try to be more like Johnny Unitas, continuing to fight, continuing to lead, just be a complete team player. So with all of this, it means so much to me to be standing up here and receive this, to continue to represent and have pride of Johnny Unitas' legacy, to share this with my coaches, my family, Fort Worth and TCU, my teammates at home. I know they're watching, so it just means so much to me, and I'm super honored to be in this position, so thank you guys.
Max, you made a lot of people happy tonight, but I couldn't help watching as you made your remarks, your family members sitting right down front here, and see them bursting with pride. And congratulations to you. You raised a terrific young man, and brothers and sisters. It's a family that could be very proud tonight, all of you. It was quite a process in getting up here. We talk about the football aspect and all the things that go into it, but the original list coming into this year, there were 50 of the nation's top quarterbacks on that list. And then John and the committee reduced the list to 10, and then they're down to the final 5. The other finalists this year were some quality quarterbacks: Stetson Bennett from Georgia, Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, Bo Nix from Oregon, and C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. So those were the final 5. We're looking at the final one right here. And the selection committee, Phil, you and the other people that had the votes, tough work, but you got it right, and we can see that. Max, congratulations to you and your family. We'll know you'll represent all that's good about the Golden Arm Award. Enjoy your Heisman time in New York, and good luck as you guys, your Frogs, chase the national championship. And thanks to Coach Dykes for joining us. And Phil, it's good having you back in Baltimore. And finally, a special thanks to all of you out here tonight for your support of the Golden Arm Foundation. Many of you have supported the Foundation Scholarship Program in the past. If you haven't and would like to make a difference for a scholar athlete, it always would be appreciated. So good night and happy holidays.
Come up and get pictures.